all about and when it started, and just go for it, because it's
All right. Okay. Well,
far away.
All right. Well, so Spinach, we do business loans. I have another business that supports tenants in transition and help them find personal loans to accommodate with the bond and the moving costs. And through the process of setting that business up, I identified that there was a gap for high quality support for business owners and advice around the finance products suitable for them. So I started Spinach Business Loans, and we work predominantly with businesses either in the growth phase or starting in business or buying a business, because both of those groups of people need their hands held a lot more than someone who's buying a truck, for example. So I set that up, and through that process, I think, is that where you're leading me? Do you want to know about the Spinach TV project?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
So through that process, I noticed a lot of our clients, they've been really, really great at a product or service, and they started in business, and then they come to me often in crisis mode. I've got to deal with a compliance thing, or I'm dealing with this problem and I need some money. And I just was hearing the same things again and again, and decided to create the project that kind of drew Sean's attention to me, which I call Spinach TV. It started out, we were interviewing experts who work with business owners and trying to inform them, things like terms of trade and shareholder agreements and various topics that just blast them with high quality information that just gets them thinking, so that I'm only hearing from them when they're in growth mode or when they're inspired or starting business, rather than in crisis, because taking on debt when you're in crisis sucks. So, and then it took a turn. We started off the entrepreneur series, so we were working with business owners who were absolutely smashing it, and I was trying to understand what they're doing differently from the run-of-the-mill business owners. And then while I was getting that project up and running, the COVID-19 stuff happened. So we started creating a series talking about things business owners can be doing to empower themselves and get through this phase at this time. And that's what the Rob Campbell one, that was one of the first COVID-19 sort of discussion pieces. And so that's where that's at the moment. And it's just a project, again, for the purpose of informing and empowering the business community and kind of pulling us together with, collaborative.
Who have you interviewed so far, apart from, because I've got to say, your interviews are really good. And I'll tell you what I might do is I might track down some more of these interviews and I'll share them on the Essential Talent page and on the personal page, because I was just so impressed. For someone that doesn't actually do it, to interview people for a living, you're an absolute natural, because you get people comfortable in talking about themselves. So you've done Rob Campbell, you've done my friend Todd Scott, who's great guy. Who else have you done so far?
Well, for the expert series, I did about 20 different.
Wow, that's cool.
And then for the COVID-19 stuff, there's been about 9. So we did a health coach, Shamavil Yakub, the economist. Off the top of my head, I can't think. I just met with Bridget Jackson this morning, the divorce coach, mediator. Because obviously at this time those statistics swing away from romance. So
so how's lockdown going for you? Because we were just talking about this before, and this is why I said, hey, look, let's just jump on live and have a chat about this. So I was really enjoying the chat, and I thought other people might as well. And then we had some thoughts on about where we think it might head after this. Like, how has because you've got a young family, how things changed a little bit for you in lockdown?
How things have changed for us? Well, I generally work from home anyway. I started the businesses because I didn't want to put the kids in care and get back to corporate life, sitting in traffic every day. So the kids are often with me anyway. One of the main changes for us is that my husband is now working from home too. And he is now bearing the brunt of the unexpected participants. He might be on a Zoom call with workmates, and a half-naked toddler walks in with some Lego and needs to talk to him about whatever that is. That's one of the big things that we had to adjust to, is how to navigate the working from home and actually be working. And also a lot of our big, say I've got 2 wee boys, and so a lot of our big play activities are on hold, and trying to find ways to let that energy out that doesn't trash my couch So we had to be creative. There's a pile of rocks down by the train tracks, actually, that, we go for a little walk or take our bikes down there, and then they play on the rocks, and we get there and they're like, the rock playground, and they're running around like picking up rocks, taking rocks. Oh, this is the rock. So yeah, lockdown has changed the way that we operate, but we still have to get the same stuff in a day.
What are your thoughts on, none of us can look into the future, but what do you think are going to be the opportunities for some businesses? Because there are going to be some, look, we're all going through a lot of pain at the moment, but there will, at the other end of this, there'll be other industries that pop up. There'll be brand new businesses. Where do you think some of the opportunities might be for business?
Yeah, we sort of touched on this before, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think, we're going to be in the lockdown for so long that we're going to get used to a lot of the things, a lot of the changes. So suddenly, some of the key things I think that are going to happen, mum and dad aren't kind of, at the moment, they don't have those childcare costs. And so they're going to start thinking, I've got the kids around and I actually really like being around them. Maybe we could reshuffle our working hours so that, we could keep them home more. And so suddenly that 9 to 5 is kind of going to be outdated. People are going to be working from 7 till 7, but it's going to be split between and that work, those big leases, like the Todd Scott interview yesterday, he just said, suddenly my workforce is working from home really efficiently, and that massive CBD lease that I have doesn't make as much sense as it did this time last year. And so the way that we're doing things, like we're sitting here and I'm like jumping on, plugging in my grocery order, and it's out of my mind, and it just turns up that stuffing the kids in the car, going down to the supermarket, arguing the whole way around, waiting in the queue, suddenly for $9, I don't have to do all of that. And so the way that supermarkets look may change. It might move to a warehousing type system rather than the consumer accessible stores. There's going to be all the infrastructure for this. The technology. I was speaking with somebody earlier in the week, and they were just doing a trial of a 3D conferencing system where participants get an avatar and they're sitting in a lecture theatre amongst other avatars, and you can go over and walk over and talk to that avatar and listen to the lecturer and walk outside and
oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But this stuff's already been in the pipeline. People have already been working on these things. But we're now moving to a stage where we're ready for that. We can actually, we've just had some really meaningful conversations. I've never clapped eyes on you physically, but that hasn't been a barrier. And we're going to be more open to those new technologies. And so I think distribution, technology, and the last piece will be sustainability, because we're going to start to see the improvements in the environment from having reduced carbon emissions from vehicles. All those green businesses they're going to be really trendy after this. People are going to want to hold on to that clean, green New Zealand image. Once we clean up our waterways, get the air pollution down, we're going to want to hold on to that.
I hope that we are. I mean, because there are some. If you hear that in the background, that's my dog. Who I was in a rush for this interview, so yeah, his pet food is actually in a place, and I won't go there. He's making a lot of noise. I think, it's interesting working from home, isn't it, as well, of people actually getting their head around that, because I think to begin with, it can be quite challenging. I mean, I find working from home, I ran a company where I had 20, 30 staff, high energy, people around me all the time. And then 3 years ago, it's like I'm working from home. And there are some challenges that you have to get your head around to begin with. Have you found that? Any tips on people who have got a young family, for example, like you've got 2 young sons? And I know that you obviously get great support from your husband, but have you got any tips on how to set up, everything?
The things that I do to make it work, I have a routine as if I was working in an office. So I still have my morning shower, I still put on my work clothes, and I have a workstation that I leave behind at the end of the working day. And that helps me and it helps the kids, because when I'm at the laptop and I'm in the office, although I'm not at the moment, hubby's in there because he'll be noisy if I'm in there with him. But generally, there's work and there's home, and when we come out of the office and we shut that door, we're off the clock, and it's easy to understand because those things are all visual. So like taking off the shoes when you're done with work, or the simple things that actually I find help you physically to clock on, clock off. And I avoid doing those household tasks in amongst other stuff. I avoid doing that anyway. But and amongst the work stuff, because when you've got that bleed between home and work, it bleeds all night as well. You'll get a ding and you'll, just check that email. It doesn't actually stop, and you're actually not being very productive when you live like that. So having clear on and off times I think is one of the most important things.
Yeah. Any advice for people at the moment that are working at home and just trying to get their head around what the new world is going to be, how they should be sort of spending their time and preparing for this? Because I know that you're a big person or a big believer in doing that and actually using that time wisely.
Yeah, I mean, there's two things that I have, and one that my husband and I talk about regularly, and it's being open to opportunity. One of my favourite books is called The Obstacle is the Way, and I believe that this moment will be a defining moment of our generation. The ramifications are going to be so far-reaching that all of us are impacted. But with crisis and challenge comes opportunity as well, and that might be an opportunity. If you can work from home, maybe that opportunity to you may look like downsizing your house and moving to the regions where your mortgage isn't so high, so you've got more time for your family because you don't have to work so hard, or something, or in my field, a gap in the market for a business opportunity or a way to better serve your customers. So that's how I deal with fear and anxiety, is by taking control of what I can, taking control of my mindset, and looking for ways to seize the outcome for my advantage. And the other piece was around, we didn't touch on it before, but the community piece. So I find the more isolated we are, the more we're actually reaching out. And that to me looks like going for walks with my kids and everybody's got teddy bears in the windows.
Yeah,
and we're all
amazing, eh?
I feel more connected with my neighbours and my community than I ever have, and I've lived on this for 5 years. And we walk down and we're checking in with the old lady and how you doing, and that professionally that's happening too. We talked about it before with people offering their services on a pay what you can basis, and people giving more than ever. And I think those two things, try not to despair, control what you can and accept what you can't.
Well, I'm pleased that I've met you through this lockdown period, because, and as I said before, I came across one of your interviews interviewing Rob Campbell and then some other content. And I thought, I'm going to reach out to you because I was so impressed. And, we had a chat, we've had a couple of chats prior, and Banjo is just going, well, I wish everybody could see this. He's got the Jimbo pet food plastic cup and he's holding it in his mouth, and it looks ridiculous. Anyway, Banjo the dog, everybody. I just love your content, and we've had chats before, and you are so genuine about wanting to add value for your customers, and you're really passionate about it. And I think in this new world, you can't fake that kind of stuff. I mean, yes, we all want to have successful businesses, but and make a profit, all of that. But now's the time to actually be genuinely kind, genuinely want to help people. And I think anyone that fakes that is going to just get caught out. But you're not one of those. You're just, just talking to you prior, you're just so excited about what the future could hold, but also just wanting to give as much to your customers as possible. So if people want to learn more about, is it spinach.co.nz? Is that right? Have I got that right? Yeah. Go to spinach.co.nz, because Jemma is just, she's going to be able to help your business, I think. She's just, especially if you're going in that growth period, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of people I find, that use our services have gone off to tier one. Tier one is ultra conservative. They want 2 years financials, and the answer is no. We're not going to lend to you until after you're through this growth phase, or until after you started the business and proven it. And these people don't know what to do next. And that's where we fit in, as we work with 24 different business specific lenders, and it's not it's not just as simple in the business space. It's not just as simple as taking a business loan. There's so many different types of products, and different structures, and different options available to assist with the growing pains or the hurdles or the reaching the goals that you're having trouble getting to. So we sort of fit in like a mortgage broker, but for business loans.
Jemma Ross, owner of Spinach, thanks so much for your time.